Warframes are not the only big dude killer right now in the game, and if you're looking for something to make the grind a bit easier in terms of farming arcanes, and even resources that you need for crafting, or even for the steel path honors, then you should try to get yourself a cornbot. To be specific, get a Voidrig right now. How about the Boned Widow squad leader? In my honest opinion, Boned Widow is great, but it's not as useful as Voidrig at the moment. Voidrig can down even steel path level big bosses, like the Eidolons, the Thumpers, the Acolytes when they spawn in open world missions, and even can do isolation vaults. The Mesh has more uses compared to Boned Widow. That is why I consider him as the best cornbot at the moment. In case you're wondering why I'm calling them cornbots, well, take a look at their bodies. The standard edition, that is. They look like corns and they are bots. Now I think you get the idea. Now how do you get a Voidrig? There are two paths. One is going into the store and purchase it with platinum. So you can say that the fastest way to get a Voidrig is to farm prime parts, sell them and then buy it on the market, or you can swipe that credit card, buy platinum, and buy Voidrig. But there's a free way, and that is farming for its parts. The thing is, you need to farm these Orokin Animus matrices, trade them for Necraloid standings, and then purchase the parts. Where to get these matrices? They can be farmed from isolation vaults, and they are guaranteed to drop from all 3 Necramechs guarding the tier 3 isolation vaults. What's the best Warframe for this mission? I would say that it's Nyx if you don't own a Voidrig yet. The easiest way for me right now to farm isolation vaults is with Nova with Voidrig. You just slow the enemy cornbots with Molecular Prime, then hit them with Voidrig's Arcbex. But for those who don't own a cornbot yet, then I would suggest Nyx. The video on what build to use for Nyx and isolation vaults can be seen in the video description. It's an old video, but it still works and you can check it out later. Well, to be honest with you guys, I haven't leveled up my cornbots in the missions available right now. The fastest way to level up cornbots is during the Orphix Venom, wherein it only takes a couple of minutes to fully max the rank of one cornbot. But right now, some of my friends are saying that the fastest is doing the Thermia Fractures, wherein you capture corpus spaces and let your Necramech do all the killings. I think Cambion Drift could work with Arcana Vault bounties, and well, that's it. But I need to try it first before I can recommend it. I think I will be doing a leveling guide for cornbots next, or even try it on my stream later. For now, let's focus on the modding. While the mod setup for my Voidrig is still not yet complete, and there's a missing mod on this slot, still, this is enough to survive a perfect Eidolon capture, Acolytes, Thumpers, and other enemies. Especially in the Eidolon fight, all you need for this is the flow mod, the streamline, the intensify, continuity, and you might slap the vitality for cornbot and you are good to go. Anyway, we won't be piloting the cornbot all of the time, as we will use some Warframes to make the Eidolon fight easier. In terms of the Arcbex build, it's all about putting all the critical mods you can, elemental, and then damage mods. This build has over 220k total damage and able to one-hit the limbs of the normal Eidolon, hence, making the fight faster, and in fact, Voidrig is the best Eidolon hunter in the game in my opinion. Now, if you pair this with Trinity for solo Eidolon hunting, then most probably you can do a 3 capture Eidolon per night, or even more if you are well versed in the mission. In my case, I only use Trinity for healing the lures, and the rest will be taken care of by Voidrig. In terms of amp, in solo Eidolon hunting, I always use my trusty Clamor paired with the Unera Focus for the Wisp that increases the damage of your amp. Then, I have the Virtuous Strike to further increase the critical damage of each hit from the Clamor Prism. It would take seconds to deplete the shield of an Eidolon using this prism. But remember, Trinity is not the only one that can do Eidolon hunts. You can always go with Volt for faster shield depletion and use Voidrig as your main tool for downing the Eidolon. By the way, in terms of hunter thumpers in the plains, in case you want to, or even push it by hunting steel path thumpers, then my advice is to use the same build for Voidrig, then use Nova for her slow. Also, there's Enurix Temporal Blast works, and it stacks with Molecular Prime. In addition, before even hitting the knees of the thumpers, you can actually strip their armor using the Sarper with the Shattering Impact mod. It works and it will strip the armor of the thumper. Just make sure that you just do 3 normal hits and don't overstrip the armor, since it's better that way, so your radiation damage will hit harder. Another great tip is before going to the plains, it's good to get the Steel Path bounty first from Konzu, as there is a better chance of spawning those thumpers, to the point that you can spawn 2 of them in one run. Just go back to setters after you have killed the thumper and do another run again if you want. So why do thumper hunting, you asked? First of all, it drops some rare mods that can be sold for platinum. There's the Augur Secrets, then the Stinging Thorn Stance that are sold for about 12 to 15 platinum. This is, if you are tired of farming prime parts, because to be honest, prime parts farming gets boring sometimes. Also, it drops fishing and mining resources, even the rarest ones, so, if you are farming thumpers, then you are like farming for platinum, fishing and mining resources exclusive for the plains of Eidolon at the same time. Another great tip I can give with thumper farming is having necros, since he can double the loot of a dead thumper with his desecrate ability. For the slowing part, you can just use Zanuric's Temporal Blast. Anyway, you won't be using necros to deal with the thumpers but your Voidrig. Lastly, in terms of isolation vault runs, for farming those matrices fast, then you can still use Nova to slow the movement of enemy corn bots, then just use a corrosive setup for Voidrig's Arcbex and you can kill those corn bots easily. It's really a luxury to have Voidrig in your arsenal, because not only you can farm tons of arcanes with Eidolon hunting, but also other stuff that will make the grind easy. It's also rewarding, since you can use this to gain platinum by farming things like the thumpers. Not to mention that farming Eidolons allow you to access the full power of all your focus school faster, so, if you don't have a Voidrig, then might as well get one now. Before you leave, I would like to say that I'll resume stream tomorrow. If you want to check me out on Twitch, then my channel link is at the video description and it's plastered in your screen for the whole duration. I also want to apologize because the mic I have ordered online did arrive yet, so, there's unwanted noise feedback on my stream, but it will get fixed as soon as I have the streaming mic. I know some of you don't mind it, but, hearing how bad it is myself really makes me want to change it. So, I'm sorry if it's not that good now. But it will improve later. Thank you so much for understanding, and also watching this video. Squad Leader signing off.